My name is Simon Hara, and welcome to my iSearch presentation. This presentation is about how I learned masking on Adobe Premiere Pro in 6 weeks. I will be walking you through everything I learned and how it helped me progress my skill set. The main thing that helped me were my 5-second projects, of which I had 3. Each one of these would show a different way that masking is used, and the idea was that they would help me get a more general idea of masking. Over the course of my 6 weeks, I did each project 3 times. So let's start by showing you my progression in those. Before we begin, let me tell you what masking is, as it's possible that some of you may not be familiar. Masking, a technique that helps you to selectively hide or reveal parts of an image or video, like putting text behind a person or blurring a license plate. The first of my 3 projects was a masking door transition, in which I would have to mask out the space inside a door, making it look like it leads somewhere else. The raw footage for this was a green screen door transition, but we won't be using the green screen. We'll be going frame by frame and moving the points to adapt to the door opening. Let's watch my first attempt. As you can see, that looked pretty bad and totally unrealistic. What did I do wrong? Well, for starters, you can tell that I did way too many points on the mask because it's so rounded. You can also tell it is rushed because there are some frames in which the new background doesn't reach the door. In the second attempt, you can totally see some improvement. This time, the background actually reaches the door. This rendition looks 100 times better than my first one, and that can be credited to one thing that was arguably the best thing I learned throughout this whole project: taking my time. While I'm editing, I always just want to be done and move on to the next thing. But with masking, that's kind of impossible. If you rush it, it ends up looking like this. The only thing that I did wrong in this version was that I completely cut out the shadowing on the outside of the door. Now, for the final clip. Wow, look, there's shadowing on the door. This version is near perfect, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. The second project I did was the falling from the sky mask. The point of this mask is to grab one frame of me jumping and isolate it from the background so I can make a fall from the sky. To do this, you have to line up the artificial fall with the real fall perfectly. Let's watch my first attempt. There was a lot wrong with that. For starters, the animation doesn't look too fluid, and you can clearly see when it goes from still image to moving. Here's what the second attempt looked like. Honestly, this doesn't look very different from my first try. I think the descent was slightly more fluid and the lighting was a bit fixed up, but you can still tell where the cutoff is. Finally, here's how I fixed it in my third attempt. This one was so much better. You can't even tell the difference in lighting, and the transition between still and moving image was great. Even though my head was a little transparent at the end, I'm still very happy with this. The third and final project I did was a can crumpling animation where it looks like I crumple a can with the force or my mind, whatever you want to call it. This is done with stop motion and a mask. The raw footage for this looks like me being very angry at a can, and the mask is 8 photos of the can in different stages of being crumpled, all put together. What does my first try look like? Frankly, terrible. The can stop motion is not smooth at all, and you can very clearly see the lighting difference between the can and the other footage. Attempt 2. In this one, it got better and worse. The animation looks a lot better, but you can tell the difference with the lighting so much more than the last one. I'm pretty sure I fixed it in number 3. I didn't. Honestly, after all the renditions, I learned that doing this mask is impossible because I don't have controlled lighting. I don't have 10 ring lights and blackout curtains. Until then, this mask probably won't look perfect. All those projects really helped me with my iSearch, and I believe I now have a very basic understanding of masking in Premiere Pro. The biggest takeaway I have, which was also a huge takeaway from my interviews, was to just not do it. Another Adobe program called After Effects lets masking be done so much more automated and less difficult, and that probably would have been an easier path to take. As well as that, I would need controlled lighting before attempting more complicated masks. Thank you so much for watching my iSearch presentation. I hope you learned something, and I hope it wasn't too boring.